Well, good afternoon and welcome once again to Ed's Orchids. Now, these three plants you can see in front of you are what I bought from our local society show last August, and there's a Bialara, a Brassidium and McClellanara there, and although two of them are doing quite well, the Brassidium is doing absolutely nothing. And with absolutely nothing, I mean the other ones are showing fair roots. And this is the Pagan Love Song. It's got some new roots there, and they look like some old roots over the top. But I think I should repot these again. I'm not sure. And take those, if they are dead roots, take those out. But I'm quite happy with this one. The Bialara, you can see one or two roots there, but not doing quite as much because they don't need much water, these in the winter months. They just need to be kept slightly damp and almost dry. This Bialara, they're called Alacera, something like that. So I'm going to take these out of the pots. I'm going to put them in some fresh compost, and I'm going to give them a feed. Oh, we'll talk a bit about what feed I'm giving them later. And as you can see, this Brassidium is in a different type of medium. It's coconut husk and perlite, but I don't see any roots whatsoever. So I'm going to take this out and see what's happening. This might be because it needs to be kept dry during the winter, or very little water, and I might have kept it too wet. But we'll take it out of its pot and we'll have a look. We remove the label. Brassidium Orange Charm crossed with Oncidium Megaglossum. We'll have a look. See what's going on, if anything. No, the roots are awful. So we'll have to change this. Oh, yeah. No, the roots are dreadful on this one. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. Look, there's nothing going on there with the root system. They're trying to grow, but evidently they don't like what they're in. So I'll put these in some bark and nothing else, just pure bark, and we'll see how it goes on. Well, I've got some new bark here. It's about 10-12 millimetres in size, so that should be fine. I'm not going to put anything else with it. So we'll just try and pot this up okay if we can. A bit low in the pot, so we'll lift it up a little bit. That's all that needs. So that's one done. Next one I'm taking out is this McClellanara Pagan Love Song. So we'll have a look at this. Oh, this is the one with some nice roots in, but and I think this is just the ordinary bark. Yeah, it is. And the brown roots are a little bit soft, but I don't think they're bad. These new roots are absolutely wonderful. They're as hard as iron. You can see that. I don't think I need these. I don't think I need to bring this up close to the camera, do I? For you to have a look at, but we will do. Well, there's the roots, looking very, very nice. These white ones are brand new, and these, although they're not hard, you can't call them soft. So what I'll do before I repot this up, I'll just cut through one and see if it's green inside. If it's not green inside, I'll take them off. Yeah, I'll pot it up in exactly the same stuff that I potted the last one up in. I'll put them all in the same. You just have to sort these. Look at the bits of wood you get in here, just ordinary wood. Well, we'll have to put up with this because there's nothing else available to us at the moment. You know, we used to get Porciata, we can't get that now because of rules and regulations. We used to get the Portuguese Pinister bark, we can't get that. So we have to do with this English pine bark, which should be fine, you know, but we can only get it in very, very large pieces or pieces like this. So we'll just have to put up with it and see how we go. We'll get this one potted up. Whoopsie daisy. Hold it by the leaves, then you can see what's going on. But you know what's going on. You've seen them potted often enough, haven't you? It's just the actual NPKs I'm changing at the moment, or I'm going to change for this year to see if my plants do any better. A lot of NPK is a little bit confusing because I've just seen one which is NPK of 556, which says it's 5% nitrogen, 5% phosphates and 6% potassium. And yet the one I'm going to use, which is going to be phostrogen, that's what I'm going to use this year, is, I think it's 20% nitrogen. Of course in that nitrogen there's calcium as well. I think it's 22% phosphate and 26% potassium. So what the difference is, I've no idea. Unless when you look at how to feed, it shows you that you should give it a quarter or half or 1/8 of what it says. But I think by working on the TDS meter, you don't need to bother about that. Well, as long as you feed it around about 180, 200, you'll be fine. So that's that one done. So that's all three of them, I think. Yep. Give them done, and well, we'll see how they go on from there. They should do much better. I'll keep them a little bit drier until the nicer weather comes, and it's a lot warmer because it's quite chilly in here, and I've got the heater on at 20, but they're not drying out so very quickly. Now the only thing I'm going to give them is this phostrogen. It's supposed to be very, very good. And this has an NPK of, I was wrong before, it's 16, 20, 24. Now the fish blood and bone that I use for the frags has an NPK of 5, 5 and 6. And they say phostrogen is equal to tomato feed. But I'm just looking at my tomato feed, and the NPK of that is 10, no it's not, it's 6, 3 and 10. So that's got a lot more potassium in it than the other. I don't know. It's a bit confusing for people. So I think it's advisable just to go off what TDS you're feeding them, no matter what NPK you're using, doing the right TDS. We'll put some phostrogen in here to get it up to about a nice one, about 180 TDS. and that should be fine. So I'll put a bit in there, give it a stir around, and I can find my jug. And we'll see what that is. But first I've got to put some warm water in too. Because we can't do with feeding our orchids on stone cold water. Now that should be nice and tepid. And the TDS is, I better put some more water in. It's on at 450. I've hardly put any stuff in. Better make that right. Just take the TDS. The water's nice and tepid. And this is at, oh there we are, that's a good guess. See that? 178. So that's perfect. Well, you know, most of these fertilizers we've got, the calcium it contains is generally calcium nitrate, because calcium nitrate is the only soluble calcium that can be taken up by the roots. And so it's very valuable in that respect. Not giving them too much, just that little bit. So the nitrogen NPK, or the N in NPK, also carries this calcium, and nitrogen is very, very good for growth, but you shouldn't give them too much nitrogen because it makes them, it'll make them leggy. And if you're using CalMag, that's also calcium nitrate. Now you do hear that people put eggshells on the plants or in the mix or something like that, but that is calcium carbonate, and calcium carbonate isn't soluble, only in very small doses. It's only soluble in very cold water. So putting eggshells in doesn't add much, or it might not add anything to your calcium content of the medium. It will just keep it open and stop it becoming compact. But as far as the calcium content is concerned of eggshells, no, out of the question, doesn't exist. I was just walking past this fragment of Richteride that's been in bloom for the last 6 months, and I've just noticed it's coming up with another spike here, and it's coming up with another spike here, and it's coming up with another spike here. So that's doing well, isn't it? So I'm very pleased about that. Some bad roots here, bad leaves need pulling off, so they should just pull off. Yep. Just me being lazy and not getting around to removing them. So I'm pleased about that one. So while we're on the subject of fertiliser, let's carry on with it just for a little while. I mean, your plants with the calcium nitrate, I know I keep going on about it, but in the calcium nitrate there's enough nitrogen to give you TDS the correct reading, but you always remember, and if you're using magnesium as well, like in CalMag, and if you look on the bottles for CalMag, I think it'll show you that there's 3 or 4 times more calcium than magnesium in it. Well, magnesium is the main source of photosynthesis, and without it the chlorophyll in the plant cannot obtain any energy if it's not in good light or sunlight. It's also vital to the health of your plants by stimulating the cell growth. The lack of magnesium will show up in the plants as discoloured leaves, but mainly a yellowing of the leaves, as if they were getting far too much light. If you're feeding in if you're potting in organic mediums, then this should be rich in magnesium. And a good source of magnesium is, of course, Epsom salts. Well, the heater's just come on, so you have to bear with me, I'll not be a minute. So we've done the N, we've done the P, and now we're on the K, which is potassium. So potassium is another element which is invaluable to orchids, and is, as I say, it's represented by K in the NPK table. It helps the plant roots to process food, and it also absorbs water from the roots. And a deficiency of potassium leaves your plants open to all kinds of diseases. Its main objective, though, is regulating the opening and closing of the stomata on your plant leaves, which is very important in photosynthesis. And if your plants are looking like they're wilting a little bit, it could be that they're just short of potassium. So there's not much more I can say about them, but I'm sure you probably all know it all as well. But that's about all I can do for today. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your patience in watching. Thank you to all my subscribers. And until next time, I'll see you later.